I think they should, because I think people should go to our play because it's telling a story that you're not going to be getting from a action film or from the media, the journalism, and it's using creativity to show you the inner lives of military characters, some who've been in horrific battles and others, and how they've tried to cope with it and how they've survived up until 2021 anyway. Hi, this is Hoan Zeidler of the Lightning Rod Theater Company, and our production of We Got Your Six opens June 10th at the Hollywood Fringe. If you want to find out more about the company, you can see us at our website at www.lightningrodtheater.com. And to learn more about We Got Your Six, please listen to this conversation. My partner at Lightning Rod Theater, Charlie Pacello, is a veteran, and he's dealt with some PTSD issues. His father was a veteran who's dealt with lots of PTSD issues. And we've always, since we founded the company back in 2009, 2010, we've always had that component that we were going to, and Charlie's done a lot of research on how theater can be used, and the catharsis of theater can be used as a therapy tool for vets. And, the thing is, the earliest playwrights were all veterans. Aeschylus, Euripides, they had all fought in wars. And one of the reasons theater started was to tell the civilian populace about the war, about the trauma of killing other people. And even though we're being cheered as we come back, there's a lot of pain involved with that too. So we have done, I would say a good number of shows on a military theme. Back in 2014, we did a show called Woof Woof, which was about a Iraqi war vet with a traumatic brain injury coming back home. And then Charlie has been getting involved. There's a real interesting network of small theaters, small veteran support groups. And while he had his radio show on in Denver, he was meeting and interviewing a lot of people. We've got the idea about having vets write monologues, and then we would have actors read them in a workshop production. And that was the first volume of We Got Your Six, which was about a year ago. And then after that was done, I realized we could take some of these monologues and kind of fit them into a narrative about Afghanistan and its aftermath, and have a really great, tight 1 hour ensemble piece about it. And so I started adapting. I adapted and I added a couple of those narratives. Others are written by some of the vets. Some of those has some of the original narrative by the vets. So it's like adapted by me and directed by me, and written, or the stories by me and the other vets, including an anonymous one. So it is, the present moment of the play is August 26, 2021. The moment of the bombings at Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, when 13 Marines were killed by 2 suicide bombers. And the 7 cast members in the play are all out of the military by now. And they're at the moment when they all find out about the bombings. One guy is going back to school shopping with his kids. Another one is homeless and living outside the VA on San Vicente Boulevard. And there's a wide variety of everyone. And the captain of the little Marine unit is trying to get their interpreter out of Afghanistan. He's driven a long way to a State Department office in North Carolina, and has gotten there and found out that there's no one in the office. They've all been pulled to come back to DC to deal with all the visa applications. And so then we go from there back into a brutal firefight their unit had with the Taliban in 2011. And then we come back out again. It felt like a really good piece for the Fringe because it was ensemble, it was actors, and an audience have to use their imagination. Everyone's dressed as they were on that day, 2021, but you have to follow the actors and their imagination, and using the audience member has to use their imagination to go back to 2021, to rural Afghanistan, to a little village where they got into a brutal firefight with the Taliban. And since you could, that worked a lot better in Fringe. You didn't need a big elaborate set, which you can't have in the Fringe anyway. You have to do it by lighting and story, acting, and ensemble work. So I thought that was great for the Fringe. I mean, I got to talk about Charlie first, because Charlie has been a lot of, he's a vet. I mean, I've seen him dealing with his PTSD and his, the problems he's had with it, with his father. It's great having someone there who's dealt with PTSD, who's counseled with PTSD, and knowing how hard and how long the road back is into civilian life for some vets. Then, because I was reading pieces of this at Naked Angels Tuesdays at 9. And from there, we picked up Derek Ocampo, who's playing a combat corpsman, and Brittany Dillon, who is playing a lieutenant helicopter pilot who's flying medical evacuations in Afghanistan. Also, I had met him in Tuesdays at 9 back in a few years ago. Christopher Wood is playing the sergeant in the unit. Really great actor. Then, you're reaching out, because we needed someone to play the interpreter, and we'd had from an actress who was Indian, she recommended Muin Jahan to play our interpreter character. He's doing a great job. And then we knew Demetrius from previous shows we had with him. We knew that he could handle the loose, the trigger happy, the little bit bloodthirsty Marine in the company. And then Cameron Gregg, we were looking for someone who plays to play a wounded vet, and Muin recommended him. I had met Cameron before, probably around at Atwater Village Theater, but I used to go to 70 shows a year sometimes, and I know I've met people before, but I just don't remember where I met them from. So, but yeah, I think our cast is great. We've really, in the last couple of rehearsals, started to get that feel of where you're putting on something that's greater than the sum of its parts, and I hope we can grow that. Hollywood tends to give us just this one narrative of the vet recovering from PTSD, and there's a lot of variety in it, and there's also some vets who handle it pretty well. And I think also while there is violence and a firefight in this play, there's no pyrotechnics or anything. It exists in the memory of the characters from 10 years before, and that there's the way Hollywood presents, and the films present a battle, which is really spectacular, and I love that stuff. You can have a really great battle scene, and it's just amazing. It's very effective. But there's also the interior story of a battle, and I'm hoping that we get that on stage. And I hope that if the audience comes to see this, they will come out of the theater, pat us on the back, and tell us we have. I'm looking for the audience to be really involved, that no one's kind of like moving in their seat a little bit. I almost always sit in the back row, often because I'm also doing the house that night, and so I can help anyone who's coming in late. For me, it's just is the audience involved? Have they felt an experience different from any that they've had before? Though that's one of the reasons I think I went out and founded, Charlie and I went out and founded Lightning Round, was to tell stories and to tell and to do things on stage that we weren't seeing being done in other theaters, by other theaters, in American drama, and not in film or television either. I think that how internal the fight or how internal a battle is or a firefight is when military personnel are involved. That there's moments where they're just filled with adrenaline and all that, but then there's other characters who are kind of retrospective about it as it's happening. They're recording and they're trying to understand what's going on, and I think that's probably one of the most interesting things we're doing. I think they should, because I think people should go to our play because it's telling a story that you're not going to be getting from a action film or from the media, the journalism, and it's using creativity to show you the inner lives of military characters, some who've been in horrific battles and others, and how they've tried to cope with it and how they've survived up until 2021 anyway. Fringe is just, like I said, it's a carnival of theater and creativity, and there are so many really great rides to go on in the Fringe, and every year I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to go on every ride I wanted to go on, because there's just too many. So there's a lot of stuff that would appeal to you, whatever your taste is, but because it's not that expensive, you're not paying $75 for a ticket or $100 for a ticket. There's other stuff that maybe between two shows, check out another show that you don't think might not be something you would normally see, but now you've got the time. It's not going to break your bank. Go and see that other show. There are a lot of really creative people in Los Angeles, and that's always surprises me. Like back when I was an Ovation voter and I was seeing, 2 or 3 shows a week, even the most mundane production of a Hamlet play, that wasn't really the production was not interesting. There were always 2 or 3 actors who were just awesome, and it kind of breaks your heart that there are so many great creative people in this town whose work aren't being seen. And I think you can go, if they're participating in the Fringe, it's a great place to go see them, support them, give them that creative confirmation that we're all looking for. It's going to be, in one way or another, a yearly thing for us if we can get the ball rolling. And we're also doing the goal right now is to get to the point where we're doing a Fringe show, a full run production, and then we're having our lightning in a bottle theater play development process. And so probably next year, We Got Your Six will be volume 3, I think. That'll be a workshop with actors reading monologues written by vets. And it's without knowing your financials, you don't really know what you can do from year to year. So it's going to be, We Got Your Six is going to be a yearly thing for us. Whether it's going to be going into another Fringe show, full-length show, something like that, we don't know yet. But next year will definitely be, we're going to have a workshop with monologues written by vets, performed by actors like we had last year. And then hopefully we'll get enough money together to put on a full-length show. So then, yay, go Lightning Rod Theater. Lightning Rod Theater has been around. I mean, as the elephant kind of faded away, we started putting it together. And we've been here for a while, and we've been small. We've been like doing our thing, and we're trying to get to that next level where it's, like I said, a full-length show and a Fringe show, and then a development process, a couple of development workshops every year. And that's kind of like the next level for us. For that, though, we're going to need a lot of support, and we would really appreciate it if you saw the Lightning Rod theater show, if you saw someone mention about it in publicity or something, if you come by and check us out. My name is Paul Hoan Zeidler. I am the adapter, writer, director of We Got Your Six, and we are Lightning Rod Theater, and we make it our passion to give you a theater experience that you won't get from anyone else. We will always be lightning rods. And see you in the theater, and see you at the Hollywood Fringe too.